In the seasons of spring and summer, upon the slopes of woody Helicon, where the sacred waters of the Hippocrene spring murmur in mystery, and on the heights of Parnassus, by the crystal currents of the Castalian fount, Apollo leads the dance of the 9 Muses. These young and radiant maidens, daughters of Zeus and Mnemosyne, are the eternal companions of the god. He stands as the master of their choir, accompanying their voices with the melodies of his golden cithara. Majestic is Apollo as he strides at the head of the procession, crowned with a wreath of laurel. Behind him follow the 9. Calliope, muse of epic poetry. Euterpe, muse of lyric song. Erato, muse of love poems. Melpomene, muse of tragedy. Thalia, muse of comedy. Terpsichore, muse of the dance. Clio, muse of history. Urania, muse of astronomy. Polyhymnia, muse of sacred hymns. Their chorus swells in solemn grandeur, and all of nature, as if held by a sorcerer's spell, hearkens to their divine song.
When Apollo, attended by the Muses, appears amidst the assembly of gods upon bright Olympus, and the strains of his cithara and the singing of the maidens arise, a hush falls over the celestial realm. Ares forgets the clamor of bloody battle. The lightning ceases to flash in the hands of Zeus the cloud-gatherer. The gods cast aside their grievances, and peace and stillness reign supreme. Even the eagle of Zeus lowers his mighty wings and closes his piercing eyes. His fierce cry is silenced as he slumbers peacefully atop the scepter of the king of gods. In the profound silence, the strings of Apollo's cithara ring out with solemnity. Yet, when the god strikes his golden lyre with mirth, a bright and shimmering dance begins to move through the banqueting hall. The Muses, the Graces, the ever-youthful Aphrodite, and Ares with Hermes all join the joyous circle. Leading them all is the majestic maiden, Apollo's sister, the beautiful Artemis. Bathed in streams of golden light, the youthful gods dance to the celestial music of Apollo.
Terrible is the far-darting Apollo in his wrath, and his golden arrows know no mercy when they fly. Many have been struck down by them, including the sons of Alois, Otus and Ephialtes, who were proud of their might and refused to submit to any master. Even in their earliest childhood, they were famed for their gargantuan stature, their strength, and a courage that knew no bounds. While yet youths, Otus and Ephialtes began to threaten the Olympian gods. "Oh, let us but come of age," they cried. "Let us but reach the full measure of our supernatural might. We shall then heap the mountains, Olympus, Pelion, and Ossa, one upon the other, and by them scale the very heavens. Then shall we seize from you, O Olympians, both Hera and Artemis." Thus, like the Titans of old, did the rebellious sons of Alois defy the gods. And they might well have fulfilled their boast, for had they not already bound the terrible god of war, Ares, in chains? For 13 long months he languished, withered in a dungeon of bronze. Long would the insatiable Ares have remained in captivity had the swift-footed Hermes not stolen him away when his strength was all but spent. Mighty indeed were Otus and Ephialtes, but Apollo would not endure their sacrilege. The far-darting god drew tight his silver bow. Like sparks of flame his golden arrows flashed through the air, and Otus and Ephialtes fell, pierced by the divine shafts. Apollo dealt a cruel punishment to the Phrygian satyr Marsyas, for the creature had dared to challenge him in a contest of music. Apollo's Cytheroides could not brook such insolence. It had happened that while wandering the fields of Phrygia, Marsyas discovered a reed flute.
It had been cast away by the goddess Athena, who had noticed that playing the instrument she herself had invented distorted her divinely beautiful features. Athena had laid a curse upon her invention, decreeing, "Let he who lifts this flute be most cruelly punished." Unaware of the goddess's malediction, Marsyas took up the pipe and soon learned to play with such skill that all who heard were enchanted by the simple melody. Vanity took hold of Marsyas, and he challenged the very patron of music, Apollo, to a trial of skill. Apollo answered the summons, clad in a long, magnificent chlamys, crowned with laurel and bearing his golden cithara. How insignificant the dweller of woods and fields appeared beside the majestic, radiant Apollo. How could a wretched reed flute draw forth such sublime notes as those that flew from the golden strings of the leader of the Muses? Apollo emerged victorious. Enraged by the satyr's hubris, he commanded that the wretched Marsyas be hung by his hands and flayed alive. Thus did Marsyas pay the price for his audacity. His skin was hung in a grotto at Selene in Phrygia. Legend says it would stir and dance whenever the notes of a Phrygian reed flute drifted into the cave, yet remained motionless whenever the stately strains of the cithara resounded. Yet Apollo is not merely a bringer of vengeance or death, he's also the healer of infirmities. His son, Asclepius, became the god of physicians and the healing arts. Raised by the wise centaur Chiron upon the slopes of Pelion, Asclepius became so adept that he surpassed even his tutor. He did not merely cure all maladies, but began to restore the dead to life. By this, he earned the wrath of Hades, lord of the underworld, and Zeus the thunderer, for he had violated the eternal order of the world. In his fury, Zeus cast a lightning bolt and struck Asclepius down. Nevertheless, the people deified the son of Apollo as the god of healing, erecting many sanctuaries in his honor, most famed among them being the temple at Epidaurus. Throughout all of Hellas, Apollo was held in the highest esteem. The Greeks revered him as the god of light, the purifier who cleansed man of the stain of spilled blood, and the prophet who revealed the will of his father Zeus. They looked to him as the bringer of plagues and the one who stayed them. Youths claimed him as their protector. Mariners sought his aid in founding new colonies and cities. Painters, poets, and musicians stood under the special patronage of Apollo Kytheridas. In the depth of their devotion, the Greeks held Apollo equal even to Zeus the Thunderer himself.